Irish guy, and right, pretty simple one. The transfer window is upon us, and right now I'm gonna break the every Premier League club's first transfer of the summer. I'm looking at the transfer rumors, staring at Fabrizio Romano's Twitter feed until my eyes feel like falling out of my face, and I'm just gonna try and calculate who you're going to sign first. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Moisaicedo. Okay, let's be real. MacAllister is choosing to spend this month sniffing on Ilkay and Dogan. It looks a bit like Mark Goldbridge writing a love letter to Megan Fox. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one's getting fed to the dog. Honestly, I know Gabriel Jesus and Alexander Zinchenko made the move, but let's be real. If the Manchester City captain chooses to go to the Emirates, I will eat an entire pancake out of a shoe. Instead, Moisaicedo is clearly quitting Brighton. I mean, I know he recently signed a new deal at the club, but let's be real, that was about as credible as Pamela Anderson's wedding vows. Yeah. She's been married 6 times. Saicedo clearly wants to leave, and there must be a release clause inserted in his deal, and I'm pretty sure Brighton don't want him spending next season begging on Instagram like a whiny child who keeps demanding Santa Claus buy him a Buzz Lightyear toy. So yeah, I reckon Arsenal will come up £70 million, and he'll be at the Emirates by the end of the month. Aston Villa, Yuri Tielemans. Apparently Aston Villa want Yuri Tielemans. Despite him, this season for Leicester City showing such a lack of work ethic, the Leicester fans will probably gladly chuck paper airplanes in his eye. The guy wants a new challenge, and sure, maybe at 26 years of age. The guy probably aimed a little higher than a 4-year deal at Villa Park, but Unai Emery can still offer him European football. I know he's probably got the Champions League on his brain, but sorry Yuri, you can't just sleepwalk your way to relegation whilst playing football like an inflatable cow and still think you're going to get moved to Barcelona in the morning. I think after a few days of looking at a contract offer from Aston Villa as if somebody has just asked him to do a night shift at Burger King, I think after his agent beats some sense into his face, then yeah, I think it'll be a freebie signing at Villa Park. Bournemouth, Gonzalo Plata. Apparently Bournemouth are closing in on a cheap deal for Ecuador's 22-year-old winger Gonzalo Plata. I mean, he's a winger who scored 0 goals in 33 games for a newly promoted Valladolid in La Liga last season. He mostly showed the end product of a constipated rabbit. I don't know what Bournemouth scouts have decided to buy him, but apparently it's gonna happen. Brentford, Caoimhín Kelleher. Caoimhín Kelleher needs to quit Liverpool. This is the summer that could make his career. I mean, come on, his competition for the Ireland #1 goalkeeping shirt has just been dropped by Southampton and relegated to the Championship. I'm guessing that forces Ginger Corkman to start dancing on his couch. But I'm sorry, Caoimhín, unless you leave Liverpool, it's not going to mean anything. This is a fella who's literally been in squads for Champions League finals. And yeah, he's only made 5 Premier League appearances. He's not a child anymore. In 5 months, he turns 25. He is nearly halfway to 50, and yet has made less of an impact on the Premier League than a goddamn beach ball. I think this is the summer where he quits Anfield. Brentford are surely going to cash in on the Spanish goalie David Raya, and I reckon Thomas Frank goes out there and gets this deal done. I mean, sure, Keller did just concede 4 goals against the league's bottom club, and yes, in the match he did look a bit like someone who's got wrists made of popcorn, but still, a part of me thinks that next season, this scruffy bloke from Cork will be Brentford's #1 after a £25 million deal. By the way, quick interruption to ask you this question. Do you like to sleep? I mean, unless you're some sort of vampire with eyeballs that don't blink, then of course you do. And last, this video is sponsored by Manta Sleep. They create the world's most amazing sleep masks to help you get the rest that you deserve. Yes, even you, the one with a hamburger in his mouth and his hand down his shorts. Lads, Manta Sleep understand the benefit of napping. They know that a good night's sleep will just make you function instead of being some sort of brainless zombie like that bloke off Fight Club crossed with Shaun of the Dead. No longer do you need to be falling asleep in your bowl of cornflakes before work, because these sleep masks really work. Look! Hey, Irish guy, wake up! Wake up! Wake up! It's like if Sleeping Beauty looked like a foot. Manta Sleep is here with an exclusive discount. Use my unique creator code IRISH10 and click the link in the description to check out their incredible products and join the movement for better sleep. The offer is available for a limited time only, so honestly, go on and finally fall asleep. Whose bed is this? Brighton, Levi Colwill. Brighton are about to absolutely shatter their bank. Lads, they've already tried to buy a 20-year-old English centre half Levi Colwill on a permanent deal from Chelsea, seeing a £30 million bid knocked back. But instead of Tony Bloom choosing to lick his paws and cower away from negotiations, the guy is preparing to offer £40 million. And I'm sorry, I know Colwill is talented, but are Chelsea really going to turn down £40 million for a defender who's yet to even make his Chelsea debut? It would be the 8th most expensive departure in the history of Chelsea Football Club, and this is a guy who multiple Chelsea managers ignored as if he was just a ball boy with chicken pox. Of course Chelsea are going to cash in. This is a club who once cashed in on Kevin De Bruyne. If they weren't going to keep Fikayo Tomori at the club, What chance does Colwell have? I mean, do you really think they're going to refuse £40 million for what? Their 6th choice centre back? That would be like the whale refusing a free pizza for lunch. Burnley Ian Maatsen. Identical transfer this. Here we have Ian Maatsen, a 21-year-old Chelsea left back. Again, I say Chelsea left back, but is he really? I suppose unlike Colwell, he has actually made his Chelsea debut 4 years ago against Grimsby Town. Lads, he's a Netherlands under-21 international, and to me, this bloke stinks of Patrick van Aanholt. The similarities are ridiculous. A young Dutch left-back who Chelsea poached from PSV and then loaned to Coventry. It's an identical career path. Van Aanholt won the championship title with Newcastle while on loan. Maatsen has won the championship title with Burnley while on loan. He is Van Aanholt. He just is, and similarly, he's got about as much chance of carving out a Chelsea future as I do of being made pregnant by my dog. And I don't even have a dog. Maatsen will be sold to Burnley very soon for about 20 million quid. Easy cash grab. Chelsea Romeo Lavia. Chelsea have wanted Romeo Lavia for nearly a year. Price up, they could have bought him from Manchester City for just £8 million last summer, but instead, Todd Bowley chose to sit on his hands and spend the month of July just probably sending Cristiano Ronaldo creepy text messages. And Southampton got him instead. So, well done, Chelsea. You do know that you're now gonna have to pay £45 million? Well, yeah, Lavia is gonna be imprisoned into a 9-year deal? You know what? Considering he's still a teenager, and Bowley has been obsessing over him ever since he scored against Chelsea last August, I reckon this might just be a 10-year deal worth £120,000 a week? Sure, Lavia will probably celebrate by having money fights in a swimming pool, but the reality will soon sink in. A 10-year deal at Stamford Bridge. You might as well chain him to the canteen fridge. Crystal Palace Jefferson Lerma. Yeah, nothing really exciting here. Just Jefferson Lerma, 28-year-old Colombian midfielder. His deal has just run out of Bournemouth, and apparently he's going to sign on a free transfer with Crystal Palace. I mean, decent-ish, tidy-ish sort of buy for Palace, but really, it's not exactly going to get the fans excited on the edge of their seat. But yeah, Lerma to Palace. Everton, Brennan Johnson. I reckon Everton are going to pull off a surprise deal early doors, and lads, something about Brennan Johnson just screams Everton. I know he's a Nottingham Forest local boy, born and bred. Ever since they snapped him up from Dunkirk in 2009, Dunkirk? Wasn't that just a bang average action film starring Tom Hardy and for some reason Harry Styles? Johnson is a quality little winger, but don't forget, Steve Cooper lost a little faith in him towards the end of the season. I mean, in 2 crucial end of season games against Chelsea and Arsenal, Johnson was only given a combined 20 minutes on the pitch, which must have caused this poor Welsh kid some inner crisis of confidence because he's only gone and dyed his hair brighter than the moon. I just think Sean Dyche is going to sanction a £30 million move. It'll be a shock, a surprise, and probably a sideways move, but this is the exact type of mid-table signing that Everton have always done. Fulham, Fred. Yeah, this is strange. I know it is. But apparently, Fulham want Fred. The Brazilian midfielder has been a weirdo at Old Trafford. That's the only way I can put it, because at times, he has looked like an absolutely majestic ballerina in the field, but at other times, he's looked like Peppa Pig. But listen, the guy's got just a year left in his Man United deal, and after the success of Andres Pereira, apparently Marco Silva wants another Man United misfit in his dressing room. I have a feeling this move happens. Transfer to swanky West London for a 30-year-old Brazilian. I mean, he needs first-team football to save his Brazil career, especially considering he's now being edged out by Joe Linton. So I reckon this will be one of the shock summer transfers. But yeah, Fred to Fulham for 20 million quid, and I'm sorry, but what a buy this would be. Liverpool Alexis MacAllister. This is sort of cheating, because isn't he going to be unveiled today? Liverpool are snapping up Alexis MacAllister from Brighton for what? A cup price 45 mil? Which isn't bad for a World Cup winning midfielder, but part of me still feels bitter because MacAllister, he doesn't have Scottish roots. Now, he's got Irish ancestors. His great-great-granddad left Dublin for Argentina in 1865. If only he had just stayed where he was. Then we could have a quality Liverpool midfielder playing for Ireland. And instead of having an Argentinian accent, this bloke would just instead sound like Damien Duff. And would probably have a tattoo of Jim Gavin on his neck. Does anyone know who he is? But yeah, quality buy for Liverpool. Luton Town, Cody Drameh. Luton Town are not going to have the funds to spend much, are they? This is going to be like watching Blackpool in 2010. I mean, hopefully. But yeah, I would imagine that Luton Town's transfer kitty is more or less like looking into an empty piggy bank. But apparently they want 21-year-old Leeds fullback Cody Drameh on a permanent deal after spending the last 6 months on loan at Luton Town. It's weird. Drameh, moving from Leeds to Luton in January, was a clear drop down to gain some first team experience and then return to Ellen Road. He probably never had any intention of staying at Luton Town. But it's weird. Leeds are still a much bigger club, yes, but Luton are the ones in the Premier League, while Leeds are in the Championship. So now, he might actually want the permanent switch. Man City, Mateo Kovacic. This must be the weirdest transfer in the list. Who saw this coming? Man City can have borderline anyone they want in the world. And so, they're gonna buy Croatian Mateo Kovacic, who yes, is a top midfielder, absolutely. But he's just had a pretty stale season for a Chelsea team who just finished 12th. I mean, the guy he's only contributed to 2 Premier League wins since October. Look, he is a former Real Madrid midfielder, yes. But I don't know, after 5 years at Chelsea, to now move to the Etihad when he's turning 30 next May, to what, just spend a season eating hot dogs on the bench? It's just weird. Man United, Mason Mount. This is gonna happen. Let's be real. Mason Mount is going to quit Chelsea for Man United. And what? A £55 million deal? This guy is the perfect replacement for Christian Eriksen. I mean, he was already asked at the F1 if he was moving to Old Trafford. And instead of him saying no, he just cackled like an embarrassed witch. Honestly, lads, this move is happening, and it's also very Manta. I know the club want Napoli centre-half Kim Min-jae too, but apparently his release clause isn't valid until July. So yeah, first signing, Eminem. Newcastle Dominic Szoboszlai. Right now, I know that Newcastle are interested in Leicester pair James Maddison and Harvey Barnes. And yet, they might well sign them. But I reckon the club's first transfer of the summer is going to be something completely different. Dominic Szoboszlai, a 22-year-old attacking midfielder from Hungary who's netted 10 goals and chipped in with 30 assists for RB Leipzig this season. This guy could well be the next Martin Odegaard. And that, considering Arsenal were stiffing around him for years, then just like I was seeing Bruno Guimaraes unveiled in a Newcastle kit, then for the Gunners, I know they have Odegaard now, but still, this might just feel a little sore. A bit like having a pencil jammed into your toe. Nottingham Forest, Dean Henderson. Listen, the second half of Dean Henderson's loan at Nottingham Forest was an injury-riddled disaster mess, but that hasn't put Forest off, who are still about to sign him on a permanent deal from Man United. And while I think this transfer will happen, poor old Henderson must be so underwhelmed. Has his stock ever been lower than this? Because it was only 3 years ago, most of the Manchester United fan base wanted him to replace David De Gea, while Chelsea were still figuring around a £50 million bid. And now, just before he turns 27, what, a 5-year deal at Forest? After all that promise and hype, is this really it? Is this the end of the road? Is this the best he can get? Poor old Dean. Sheffield United, Connor Cody. I'm sorry, but this is the most obvious transfer on the list. Connor Cody is now back at Wolves. After being ousted from their first team plans, he lost his place on loan at Everton. I don't understand. This is an English centre-half who kept the likes of Fikayo Tomori and Chris Smalling out of England's World Cup squad, and yet he's now just some unwanted Chris Packett being passed around the bottom half of the Premier League. Listen, Sheffield United play with 3 centre-backs in their starting 11, yes. And people like to say that Cody can only play in a back 3. Anything else, and he looks like a polar bear trying to sing. And listen, he made his career breakthrough alone at Bramall Lane at 10 years ago, so this just makes all sort of sense. Tottenham, Harry Maguire. Pretty simple. Man United want Harry Maguire to leave. Harry Maguire has also accepted that he needs to leave, and Ange Postecoglou is sniffing around him. Listen, Karim Matoma and David Raya will surely also be Tottenham targets, and I'm pretty sure those deals get done too, but I think Maguire gets done first. West Ham, Amad Diallo. Amad Diallo needs a Premier League move. I mean, on low. I know Manchester United fans are absolutely drooling over the precocious talents of Alejandro Garnacho, but don't forget, you've also got Diallo waiting in the wings too. A 20-year-old Ivorian winger who scored 14 goals on loan at Sunderland last season, almost single-handedly dragging a newly promoted club from League One into the Premier League. No, he's not ready to go back into the Man United squad, but I think he'll get a loan move to someone like West Ham. I mean, David Moyes took Adnan Januzaj on loan from Man United once. That guy is almost too happy to borrow unwanted toys from his former club. Wolves, Victor Gyökeres. Yeah, this transfer is going to underwhelm Wolves fans so much. I think they might actually pass out due to sheer boredom when this deal goes through. Seeing Victor Gyökeres, a 24-year-old Swedish forward, arrive from Coventry City, I won't exactly get their pulses racing, but to be fair, he scored 23 goals for Coventry last season and 18 the season before. He's probably proven to be one of those few Brighton talents who they didn't actually give a fair chance to, just loaning him to St. Pauli, Swansea and Coventry before deciding that he's about as impressive as a spoonful of mouse ear wax. But listen, he's a good player, so when this transfer does go through, promise me one thing, Wolves fans. Just smile. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Alright, what's your first transfer going to be? Let me know in the comment section below if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give a like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.